Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today, I haven't seen this for a while, we're going to be doing stages 72 to 76 of the fan home release and build the Back to the Future DeLorean.
Are we back? We're back.
Okay, this is Waynebot here. I'm not really here. I'm actually at MCM Comic Con this weekend, and this is the last video for the week, and I didn't want to get a video out. I thought we'd go back to this because we haven't seen it some time. In fact, the last time we did this was about 3 or 4 months ago, where I actually interviewed Steve Concatelli, who produced, directed, and wrote the Out of Time documentary. If you haven't seen that interview, I'll put a link up here for that. But today I am going to be working on the door, finishing the final door off, and I believe we're going to be doing one of the wings as well. I've also had an email from someone called John Langford who's asked me loads of questions, and I thought it'd be quite novel if I answer the questions while I'm doing this build today. So hopefully if anyone has any questions regarding this build, I might be able to help you out. Now the bad news is I don't think this is available anymore anywhere. So I'm not going to put the link up today. If it does come back, then obviously I will share that. But I don't know anything about how you can get hold of this anymore, unfortunately. The only other thing before we move on today, guess what? I've got a merch on the map. And today's merch on the map comes from Alan Palmer. Now, the joy of Alan Palmer is that I actually know Alan. I went to meet him in his hometown. His hometown is Castle Douglas. And as you can see, he's wearing one of my World of Wayne shirts there. Absolutely brilliant, Alan. I don't know how far Castle Douglas is, but I'm guessing, how long did I drive? Probably 300 miles? Let's have a look. I was way out again. But Alan, thank you very much. You are today's merch on the map. Remember, if you want to participate in merch on the map, there's a damn good chance that you'll get on the channel. I have put a link of the QR code to my Dashery store. Get yourself an item of merchandise, put it on, and send me a picture to the email over here, and I will ensure you get your place on the map. But thank you so much for that, Alan. I really appreciate that. But let's jump into the DeLorean. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so we are going to be needing this stage today, which came in the last pack, but this is stage 72. And here is the instructions. As you can see, all the mechanisms for the window in there and the electrics for the door. And just putting this together just like this here. Oh, and look, talking about it again, is continuing the Out of Time documentary there, which is absolutely brilliant. So, got all of stage 72 parts here, including the electrics for the door. And the first thing we're going to be doing is just putting all of these bulbs into the door. So the yellow bulb is going to go into this side here, and the other 2 bulbs are just going to go into here. So I'll get these in, and while I'm getting them in, I'll answer the first question from John Langford, who says, why did I decide to do a second build for the DeLorean? Well, probably the best reason is I don't have my original DeLorean anymore. I think that actually went to Ian over at Part Work Upgrades. The other reason is that the first DeLorean I did had a lot of modifications for it, plus it was the second model that I had ever built, the first model being the Millennium Falcon. So there was a lot of things that I didn't really know, and I made quite a few mistakes, which is what I'm hoping by building it again now, I won't replicate the mistakes. And if anyone's building these for the first time, they're going to learn from my mistakes. Hence why I make mistakes so you don't have to. Plus, I wanted to keep this one vanilla as well. I'm aware that a lot of people out there can't afford the prices for some of the modifications. I don't think it's fair to keep modding my vehicles if it only appeals to, say, 10% of the people that are actually building it. So I want to build this as vanilla as it can be. Once it's actually built, I can do what I want with it after that. But for now, I just want to build this vanilla. Anyway, once all of those bulbs are in, now what I'm going to do is just get my tweezers and just really push to make sure that these aren't going to come out here. Just like that. I'm going to need to trace this wire through the gap there so it's coming out the top. Now, I do want to put a clip just over these 2 holes to keep that wire in place. And that clip's just here. Now, just so you know, if you're ever unsure which way a clip goes, the larger hole is normally the one for the lug. So I'm going to put this in, making sure that larger hole there is housing the lug there. Still doesn't make it easier getting them in though. Perfect. That's him. I'll hold that with my finger. And I'm securing it in with an AP screw. I've got here. Just get that in. Perfect. Once I've done that, I've got some gears to put in for the window mechanism, namely these two here. Now, I don't think it matters which way round they go, but the smaller one is just going to go onto top just there. And then I've got this larger one here, which is going to go right down the bottom. Now, it's that one there that's going to be winding the window. Now, I can tell you straight away on that, that is quite tight in there. I'm going to loosen that up by putting a little bit of grease just around this area. I don't think it's going to matter if I put some on these gears as well. Let me get that back in. That's turning much better now. Okay, it's just going to be a lot easier when I'm opening the window. And then to join it, I've just got this gear here. This time we do want it this way up, making sure that that's going to be joining both of these together like that. And again, I am just going to put some grease just around here. Now, all three of those are held in with these HP screws. So just get these in. You want these screws in tight. It's not going to make a difference to how it's holding this gear, because to be honest with you, the gear actually sits below the edge of the head of the screw. That's perfect. So as you can see, operating that system just there fine. Okay, get the window. That looks like this with the ratchet part of it there. I'm going to be putting that into position just like this, making sure that it's sitting in between these two panels, but it is engaged to this side here. So it is going to move when I move it like that, as you can see. Excellent. Now we do have the main window here. Not doing anything with that at the moment, so I can put that to one side. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So stage 73, here's the instructions. As you can see, we've got the door here with a lot of details for the door. Going to be putting the trim details on the door, and then that window that we just had in the last stage we're going to be affixing there. We're also putting the wing mirror on by the look of it. So by the end of it, once we've attached all of this together, it's going to look just like that. This is the rest of the magazine. Excellent. And here is the parts for stage 73 here. So let's get these open. Now I am going to be putting my cloth down here because I don't want to scratch this door. Let me just show you what that looks like. It's a pretty impressive piece. Obviously it's metal and it's brushed steel by the look of it, but very good condition there. Now the next question I've got from John says, since you're only approximately stage 80 in your new fan home build, what changes, if any, have been made by fan home to the new DeLorean parts compared to the old Eagle Moss DeLorean parts? I can tell you now, they are exactly the same. The only differences you're going to see is in the packaging, where the packaging for these has, as you can see here, the little picture here. I think that the parts that have been made are just plain, as you can see here. But as for the parts inside, I've seen no differences at all. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is put this door barrel in. Now it is shaped with a little D shape, so it can only go in one way. And you know you've got that in the right way, otherwise it's going to be not sitting flush all the way in there. Now, got some screws here. I'm going to need an AP screw. Actually, we've got quite a fair bit of screws in here. And I'm going to screw that in from that side. Perfect. Then I've got a trim panel to put on, or a trim line. Now the lugs on the bottom of this are going to be matching the lugs here, so it can only go one way. That's going to go in just like that. Now I need to hold that in with JP screws. Now these are little flange screws, and I need 4 of these. So they're going to go in from this side here, and this will hold that trim panel in. There's a clear sticker here. I don't know what that's for. You're never going to see it, but I don't know why. I've got a clear sticker on the inside. Interesting. Okay, got 2 little tabs to put in. Now, they're going to go just on top here. Basically, they fit this way round, just over the parts here. Probably best on the top camera and here. Now, they're going to be held in with AM screws, which I've got here. Now, in continuation to that last question, John asks me about the instructions manuals, if they're any different. There's no different in them at all. Exactly the same as what we had before. In fact, the instructions manuals still have the Eagle Moss branding on them as well. So, yeah, they're exactly the same. And you can see that in that top corner there. So there you go, that's him. I'll just turn it that way round and bring over that door window again, because I'm going to be putting that into place. That's just going to go in here like this. 1 and 2. And I'm holding that in with NM screws. I need 2 of them. Don't do these too tight, because if you crack that, you're going to have a bad time. And there you go, with that in place, that's how that's looking. Okay, just put that to one side. I'm going to get out the last bits here, which are the wing mirror. And that's just a case of piecing both of these parts together. So to do that, I'm just taking these 2 parts, slotting them in like this, so that the hole can come out the bottom, and I'm screwing that in with a JP screw. That's one of those flange screws. Screw that in from the bottom. You want it quite tight, but it does mean you'll be able to then fold these wing mirrors in. All I'm going to do then, trying to keep the protective film on top of this, I'm just going to remove the adhesive from the back and put that into place on that side of the wing mirror, just like that. Now this will be going onto the car just into the position there. Can only go one way round, so it's going to fit like that. And it's held in with an AP screw. I've got that here. Screw that into the larger hole there. And then I'm going to be putting my cloth down, because that inner door card we had, I'm now going to be attaching inside this. So I want to make sure when I put it in, remember we've got gravity not on our side here. So if I just put that down, that window's going to fall out. So I'm going to have to sort of greet it this way. So let's get this in. Again, I'm just mucking around with this to make sure that this wire's not trapped. Perfect. And that's in just like that. I'm just going to check the window operates, which it does. That's excellent. Now I need DM screws, 4 of these to hold this into place. I think once I've got one in it here, I'm going to use my bigger screwdriver. I can take my hands off of this. Cool. Use oil, because you are going into metal. And I'll get all 4 of these screws in. They do sort of go in at an angle, as you can see. They don't go just straight down. All I need then is to attach the armrest, and guess what? I left that in the house. Let me go get that. Here's the armrest here. So that is just going to be going onto the middle section there. Just making sure this all fits into place like that. And again, that's held in with an AP screw through the center hole there. And then once that's done, that's how it should look. That's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, stage 74. Here's the instructions. We've got the headliner for that door, which we're going to be putting in, and we are going to be mounting this onto the car just like this. Excellent. This is the rest of the magazine. And as I said, this is one of these new packs here. So I'm just getting everything out here. Bring my mat down, and I'll just put the door that we've just created on the mat this way round. Now, tracing this wire just to the left of this part just here. Let me just zoom up the top camera a bit. I'm going to be putting this into place. It's going to go just on top like this there. Excellent. Now I'm holding that in with NM screws. Now this plastic block that we get, they don't actually explain what that's for. That's to wedge the doors open. I'm going to demonstrate how that uses in a second. Now John asks, is there any new mod that you now have on your new Fanhome DeLorean kit you did not have in your Eagle Moss DeLorean? No, is there any that I want, I think you said. Is there any new mod that you... No, it says... So back to John's question, it says, is there any new mod that I could put in this one that I didn't have in the original? Well, there's been a lot of mods made for this that I never had in the original, mainly the EL light mod, because I used my own EL lights. The mods that have been created now are a lot better. There's power mods as well, and Mike Lane's got the mod out, which basically means that you don't have to use the switches inside the car to operate the various elements of the car. That's the power mod and the remote mod, I believe it's called. But I mean, just check out those sites, you'll be able to see them for yourself. So this is the last screw going in. Obviously, when you put these screws in, make sure we're not pinching this wire. Now, I'm just going to put that to one side, and I want to bring over the bodywork for the car. So here's the bodywork here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be putting some tape on these doors, because I am going to be putting this upside down in a second. Don't want these doors to spring open. Now, even though they're on a catch, which keeps them close, I just don't want to take that risk. So I'm using some painter's tape there. But on this side here, I am going to be putting in this little hydraulic section here. And that's just going to fit into that top section just like that. I'm holding that in with this tiny bracket. It just goes over the top. And it's held in with one QM screw. So you will see there is only one hole for this to go in. I'm just lining this up. Going into metal, so a bit of oil. And put that QM screw in just there. Don't do that too tight. Now's the fun bit. We're going to be attaching the door. So, just zoomed out my cameras. I want to take the socket here, or the lead I've got. I want to pass that through the hole. There you go. Bring that out the other side. I'm going to have to write a number 4 on this because the thing just came off the paper. I don't think I can put that back on. I'll put that on afterwards. But once that's in, feed the door all the way in like this. Now when we put this in, we want to line up these hinges that I've got with the points just here. So I'm just going to pull through the excess and line up the hinges. I think they're in. I'm going to be holding them in with QM screws again. I need one each side, so this is going to be a little bit tricky. Put your wing mirrors in now to keep them protected. And it's probably going to be best to do this upside down, I think. So one in that side. Don't go too hard on these. Just enough to keep that into place. Just going to do the other side. And this is the one in this side here. So that door is now in place. What I can do, turn this back round the other way. Lift the door up. And I just want to attach this panel here, or this lifter at the side here, into the side of the door. It's going to be held in with a QM screw, so I'm going to have one loaded up already. So there you go. That's all lined up. And that is screwed in there. There we go. That door's in place. I can just polish off any oil I've got just on the top there. That's looking pretty cool. And then when you open the door, that's how it looks. Now, if you wanted to keep the door open, that's when you'd use this plastic block that just slips underneath the top here and the top of the car. And it's going to be going in there. It's going to keep it open. But that is all there is to do in that stage. That brings us on to stage 75. One part to put in here with a couple of brackets. So basically putting the brackets on this part here, and then we're going to be putting this onto the top of the car there. That's going to hide all of those cables and stuff we saw at the top. Bringing these out through the bottom as well, by the look of it as well, to keep that in place. And that's the end of that stage. Once again, this is what this part looks like. Let's get this open with all the brackets. What do I intend to do with this DeLorean when it's finished, John asks. When this DeLorean's finished, this will definitely be going in the retro room. So some models I do give away, I have to say. Some models I give to charity. But this one definitely is going to be going into the retro room. So to put these tabs in, this way round, one in here, and one just in the other side here. They're going to be held in from the other side with AP screws. So one there, and one here. Then it's a case of bringing over the bodywork again, putting this into place on top. So it's going to fit in just like that. Just get off all the blemishes I've got there. Then I'm going to need to spin it round, and I'm going to be securing this with NM screws. So probably best to have those NM screws ready first. You can see why you want to keep your wing mirrors in now, because I am going to be turning this on its side. Just like this. I'm not going to put my mat down because I am aiming to do this in from the side, but there is, let me just hold it up. As a matter of fact, if I do it gently, I will. There you go, you can see that. We've got two holes here. So let me get this one in here first. And at least that will hold this part in place. I'm actually holding the whole DeLorean off the work surface at the moment, just so I can get that in. So I just want to turn it over again, just so you can see. So I'll put these two in here. There is 3 more to put in, and they are all on this back row just here. So let me get all of those in. And this time I am going to just lie that down on a mat, because it was getting heavy. There you go. And then with all of those in place, that, whoops, is all there is to do in that stage. So stage 76, last stage here. As you can see, we've got the left side front panel. So going to be putting a little bit of trim on both sides of this, and then we're going to be attaching it to the car. So by the end, coming along, isn't it? This is the rest of the magazine, and as you can see, it looks like we've got the back quarter there to go on in the next stage. So this wing's quite big. I will be using my mat again for this. Now the last question John wanted me to answer was a bit redundant, because he says, what advice would I give anyone who's done the Eagle Moss to have for this one? But to be honest with you, as I said, it's the same build, so you are building exactly the same model. But there you go. I hope I've answered all your questions, John. Anyway, I'll put those trim panels in. I need some DM screws, and I also need some AP screws, which I'm just looking around for. There they are. Because it's the AP screws that are going to hold those trim panels into place. Now that little trim panel only has one, which goes in here. Again, going into plastic, don't over tighten it, just enough to get that trim panel in. Okay, we're going to be mounting this now to the car, which does mean that I want to have screws at the ready. These are DM screws. Bring over the car. And this is going to be going into here. So I do now want to remove this masking tape that I put at the front, because this is going to go in there just like that. Again, I'm going to have to put a mat down now so I can turn the car upside down like that. And I'm going to want to put 2 DM screws just into this side first. So one in here, and I am using oil and my PH1 screwdriver to get these really tight. So one there, one below it just here. Had to put my magnifying glasses on to see that. It's one you're going to have to screw in at an angle, because you are on a lip here. But there you go, got that in tight. Then I've got 2 positions just at the back here. So one here. And then finally just one right here. Now, that is that panel in place. I'm very conscious that I've got a lot of DM screws left over, so I am going to save those screws. But let me just turn this back over here so you can see how that looks. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Pretty cool, huh? And t-shirt matches as well. But that is another DeLorean pack completed. Now, as I said, I don't know where you can get this from at the moment, so hopefully it's going to crop up again somewhere else soon. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care. Now, how many of you are watching this video right to the end? This is where we're going to get to find out and look at the comments, because it did bother me that I had all these screws left over and I'm figuring what's going on, what have I missed out? And it's because we actually get to do the front wing that we got in the very first stage, which I had to go into the house to get. So let me do that now. But really, that is all there is to do in that pack.